In June 1560, a warlord named Oda Nobunaga stopped at a shrine on the southern edge of what is now Nagoya and prayed before walking into a battle he had no right to survive. His army numbered around 2,500 men. The force waiting for him numbered somewhere between 20 and 25,000, but he won anyway, in a thunderstorm, using the terrain and the rain to mask a surprise assault on the enemy camp. That victory launched the chain of events that unified Japan, and the shrine he prayed at, Atsuta Jingu, is still there. Nagoya sits at the geographic centre of Honshu, roughly halfway between Tokyo and Osaka on the Shinkansen line. It's Japan's fourth largest city, home to more than 2 million people, and gets skipped constantly by first-time visitors who treat it as a junction rather than a destination. That is a mistake worth correcting, because almost everything that defines modern Japan either happened here, was built here, or was made here. Atsuta Jingu is not the most visited shrine in Japan, but it is the second most revered. Only the Grand Shrine at Ise sits above it in the Shinto hierarchy, and Atsuta's claim to that position is specific. The shrine is said to house the Kusanagi no Tsurugi, the grass-cutting sword, one of the 3 imperial regalia of Japan, alongside the sacred mirror and the jewel. These objects are the physical symbols of the imperial right to rule, passed down since the mythological origins of the Japanese state. The sword has never been displayed publicly, and nobody outside the highest levels of the imperial household and shrine priesthood knows exactly what it looks like or precisely where it's kept. You can walk the forested grounds of Atsuta, which cover around 60,000 square metres and contain trees over 1,000 years old, and stand in front of the main hall knowing that the sword may be inside and still see nothing. That absence is part of what makes the place feel serious. What you can see is the wall. Alongside the southern edge of the grounds stands a section of earthen wall that Nobunaga had built as an offering of gratitude after his victory at Okehazama in 1560. He prayed here before the battle. When he won, he came back and gave the shrine a wall. That section of wall is still there, more than 460 years later. It's easy to walk past without noticing it, and that would be a shame. Nagoya Castle, about 4 kilometres north of Atsuta, was built on the orders of Tokugawa Ieyasu in 1610, with construction finishing in 1615. Ieyasu was the third of the 3 great unifiers of Japan, following Nobunaga and Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Nagoya was the seat of the Owari branch of his Tokugawa clan, one of the most powerful of the 3 senior Tokugawa houses. The complex is large, with stone walls, moats and several surviving structures from the Edo period. The concrete main keep, a reconstruction from 1959, is currently closed to the public because of earthquake safety concerns, with a full wooden reconstruction planned for some point in the 2030s. This matters less than it sounds. The reason to visit the castle grounds is now the Hommaru Palace, which is arguably the more important building anyway. The original palace was designated Japan's first national treasure and was described by contemporaries as the greatest example of formal palace architecture in any castle precinct in the country. It burned in the air raids of 1945, along with the castle keep. Reconstruction began in 2009 using traditional materials and techniques, guided by surviving survey drawings, historical photographs and written records. The palace reopened in 2018 after 10 years of work. Inside, the walls and sliding screens carry paintings by the Kano school, the group of painters who dominated Japanese formal art from the 16th century through to the 19th centuries. The spaces are cool, dim and very still. Air conditioning and toilets have been deliberately excluded to preserve the atmosphere of the period. Entry to the palace is included with the standard castle admission of 500 yen for adults. Have you ever eaten a dish 3 different ways in a single sitting? In Nagoya, they expect you to. Hitsumabushi is the local preparation of grilled eel over rice, served in a wooden bowl with a set of smaller dishes alongside. The instruction is to divide the bowl into 4 portions. The first you eat plain, just the eel and rice as they come. The second you eat with condiments, typically wasabi, spring onions and pickled vegetables. The third you pour dashi broth over, turning it into something closer to ochazuke. The fourth you eat however you prefer the most. It reads like a peculiar food ritual until you're actually sitting in front of it, and then it makes complete sense. Nagoya's food identity, which locals call Nagoya-meshi, is genuinely distinct from the rest of Japan. The city uses red miso in ways that Tokyo and Osaka don't. Miso katsu is a pork cutlet served with a thick sauce made from the same red miso paste, heavier and earthier than the standard Worcestershire-based katsu sauce. Tebasaki are chicken wings, deep fried without batter and then coated in a sweet and spicy glaze. These are not minor regional variations. They taste noticeably different and are worth seeking out. Now, most people know Toyota as a car company. What the Toyota Commemorative Museum of Industry and Technology, about 15 minutes walk away from Nagoya Station, will tell you is that it started as something else entirely. Sakichi Toyoda established his textile machinery works on the site of what is now the museum in 1911. The original red brick factory building still stands, and the museum occupies it. The first half of the exhibition is dedicated entirely to the history of weaving and spinning, from hand looms through to the automated power loom that Toyota invented and that made the family fortune. It was the sale of the patent rights to that loom to a British company in 1929 that provided the capital Sakaichi's son, Kiichiro, used to start building cars. The car came from the loom. That is the logic of the place, and the museum makes it land. Admission is 1,000 yen for adults, and free English language tours run at 2 and 3:15 in the afternoon. Just south of the city centre, the Osu district grew up around a temple that Tokugawa Ieyasu relocated here in 1612 as part of his construction of Castle Town Nagoya. The covered arcade that runs through it today contains over 1,200 shops, running from vintage clothing stores and second-hand electronics to street food stalls and places selling Buddhist hardware. An antique market fills the temple forecourt on the 18th and 28th of every month. It's the kind of area that absorbs 2 hours without effort, and the street food near the temple entrance is worth stopping for. For getting here, the shinkansen does the work efficiently. From Tokyo, the journey takes around an hour and 35 minutes on the Nozomi. From Osaka, it takes around 50 minutes. Within the city, the subway system is clean and well signed, and the Meguru tourist loop bus connects the main sites from Nagoya Station for 500 yen a day. The best months are April and May in spring, and October and November in autumn. Summer is hot and very humid, and the rainy season in June adds little to the appeal. And our journey around Nagoya ends back at Atsuta Jingu, near the southern perimeter, the section of wall that Nobunaga built, and it still stands among the trees. It's made of packed earth and stone, functional and plain, the kind of thing a victorious general builds in a hurry when he wants to say thank you and get back to conquering Japan. From that morning in the summer of 1560, through the castle Ieyasu built half a century later, through textile looms that became cars, the city that grew up around this shrine has been shaping the country ever since. Most visitors walk straight past it on their way to somewhere else, and that is the only thing about Nagoya that is actually hard to explain.